Now I would like to invite Ms. Naseem Awl, UNICEF Deputy Representative in Morocco. The floor is yours.
Your Excellency, Mr. Secretary General, dear distinguished partners on our panel today, thank you very much for extending to UNICEF this opportunity to collaborate on this exciting, colorful, and innovative event, which is taking the pulse of young people today, how they see their future, their hopes, and their dreams. What better way to reflect on these expectations than through the arts? We know both the question of young people and their development and the question of championing culture are priorities for the government of Morocco. So it is fitting that we hold this activity here today. UNICEF, as an organization, works with partners like ICESCO and so many others in addressing the rights of children, in accordance with the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. It is the most rapidly and widely ratified human rights treaty in history, and it treats children in the holistic way that is required for optimal development. This includes the need to ensure that the right of every child to engage in play, recreational activities, appropriate to age, and to participate freely in cultural life and the arts. Still, UNICEF is also deeply concerned about the transition children face as they become young people and adults. The world is rapidly changing, as we know, and COVID-19 has already accelerated these changes. The world of education and work are unrecognizable to us now. Just last year, UNICEF, together with Gallup, the international analytics company, asked these same questions and surveyed both adults over the age of 40 and young people 15 to 24 around the world on how youth see these changes and how these perspectives have changed over generations. We called it the Changing Childhood Project, and Morocco was among the 21 countries that we surveyed. This was important in that it contrasted the views of older generations with the views of young people today, across important issues, many of which were spoken about this morning: education, their outlook for the future, their optimism, and their hope. Contrary to what we might all think, young people remain optimistic about the future. They recognize the progress that has been made, including in key areas of children's lives, in health, in education, and in many other domains. Still, they remain realistic in this optimism. For example, they recognize both the benefits and the risks associated with increasingly digital lives. They are judicious about whom they trust, the information they receive, and what they use this information for, and they value expertise, science, culture, religious authorities, and many other people who we have come to defer to over time. More specifically for Morocco, young people to a large extent, and this is interesting, do not think the best is yet to come. Only 45% of the young people 15 to 24 years old think that the world will be a better place for coming generations. We must ask ourselves why. Morocco also recorded the most skepticism on whether digital education was good for education in terms of educational outcomes. We also saw that 44% of young people 15 to 24 identified themselves as globally oriented, a part of the world. Interestingly, only 18% of adults felt the same way. So young people feel fully engaged and participating in the world today, even more so than their parents or adults may feel. 52% of young people and 40% of adults surveyed consider mental health to be a growing and important concern, with both sets of generations appreciating that children and young people are facing increased pressure in all domains: a pressure to succeed, a pressure to become somebody, a pressure to feel a work that is meaningful and productive. Morocco was interestingly also an outlier in the large number of young people who understood that climate change and its impacts who understood both climate change and its impacts correctly. So much so that 76% of young people felt the government needs to take urgent action on the issue of climate change and sustainability. All in all, this survey tells us what we all know. Young people here and around the world are largely positive, but they are alert, they are aware, they are informed about the challenges facing them. They want an education that is fit for this future, and they want a role in that future. They recognize digitalization is here to stay, but they want to have the tools and the capacity to engage with the risks it poses. They want and see a need for urgent climate action, and they want to be engaged and civically minded in the world tomorrow. Thank you again very much for this invitation. We look forward to seeing how these and so many other themes are expressed today by all the artists with us today. Thank you very much. Thank you.